I needed for you to understand my background. And my background is creative. And as the district's production officer was telling you, as they were growing up, they were seeing pictures of me in their rooms. Yeah, I was one of the people that started the fashion industry in Uganda. And you should be asking yourself, what is Silvia Owori doing here? In Noya district. A fashion person. In the village. In the farm. How is a fashion person coming from fashion and now to the farm? I would like to really thank the chief coordinator, General Salim Saleh, for changing and transforming my life, my mindset. He took me from fashion to a farm. So I'm a farmer. So I cannot stand here and start talking to you when I don't know anything about farming. And that's what His Excellency told me in 2021. He said, but Silvia, if you're saying you're in Operation Wealth Creation and you're a wealth creator, how can you be a wealth creator when you don't even have a farm? I had to go back on the ground and I had to start farming. So I can proudly say, and I can speak with authority, that I am a farmer. And I would like to say today, I am going to be a voice for the farmers. I will use my platform that has been given to me by authority, by the NRM, by the peace that NRM has created, and has given me the opportunity to have worked for myself in the private sector. And choosing me also to work with them in the government. And allowing me to come here and speak on their behalf. Who am I? I'm a farmer. And you know why it's so important to me, why I called Mr. Ojok? And how important it is. I never had the chance. My father died when I was 8 years old. But in those years, whatever he taught me is what has made me who I am today. So Ojok, you're very honored. You're very lucky to have that man in your life. And what he has planted is what now you're taking and you're going to show everyone in this district. And the vision that you have for this country is just amazing. At such a very, very young age. And you see, you were such an inspiration to all the youth in Uganda. I'd like to say I was very humbled when I saw that there's a youth. Can you stand up the youth of the borders? Can you come and we take a picture as we do? Because my speech is not going to be the normal speech. It's going to be storytelling. Because as we make the speech, I want us to make a documentary at the same time. Because I want, as a creative, you can't hide good work. The story tells itself. So for all the boda riders in Uganda, we have the boda riders in Noya who already are farmers. who already have more than 100 acres of coffee. They will inspire you to leave your borders in Kampala and go to the village and become farmers, right? Who of you can speak on behalf of the borders?
Thank you, Madam Silvia, for your coming to our area. Thank you, everyone. By the name, it's called Lakonjon. I'm the secretary of Boda Noa district. Currently. We are so glad that you are here and that in our activity that we do in the transport sector, we are engaged in farming. Most of the borders here you see, they are farmers. And out of the farm, they were able to raise money for buying their motorcycles. And really they are struggling. But still not yet. As you see them, they have support. So by the time you go, consider them. At least we have our savings scheme also as borders. And they need also to move up.
Thank you very much. You can take back your seats. Like I said, for me, my speech today is a story. It's going to be a storytelling. And I want this to be communicated to the whole of the world. That Uganda is ready. Uganda is ready to get out of poverty. The war is over. The war of Kony that was here is over. The war of the gun and the bullets in Uganda is over. I don't hear you. The ladies, the war is over. I don't hear the ladies. We are starting on a new war. We are starting on a war of wealth creation. We are starting on a war of kicking out of poverty. We are going to kick poverty out of Uganda. And we are going to do it together. And we are going to do it district by district. And we are not going to leave anyone behind. We are starting here with Noya. We're starting in the background of Noya. I have been getting a whole list every day from Ojok of all the farmers that are registering that want to be coffee farmers. On top of that, I'd like to commend you, people from Noya and especially Lala Parish, for working together and going household by household, and going together and digging holes for the others. That is a revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, anyone everywhere all over the world, Uganda is ready. We are ready. And we are going to show you how it's going to be done. We are going to mobilize ourselves with the creative industry of Uganda, together with the farmers and the youth of Uganda. 75% of Uganda is the youth. So we are going to make farming interesting. We are going to make farming. It's going to be all fun. Starting today, that's why we have the artists here. We're going to do a music video in the farm. And the artists here have already created a song that they are going to perform for you. And they will do a video here that will go all over the world. Uganda's time is now. I would like to go back a little bit to the history of coffee. And I would like to say that from 2014, 2015, when Operation Wealth Creation was started, coffee production had stagnated at 3.4 million bags. It had stagnated for 15 years. That is when His Excellency the President of Uganda came and gave a presidential directive that the production of coffee should go from the 3.4 million bags to 20 million bags by 2025.
Anyway,
it has been increased to 2030.
On to 2030.
At this point, I wanted to make very clear because there's a lot of drumming of the history of coffee. The production of coffee only started going up after Operation Wealth Creation started giving out inputs. And that's a record. And that is on record. So for all of you Ugandans, all of you who are there drumming the traditional tribalistic things about coffee, no, for us in northern Uganda, like we said, we are newborn babies.
The
land here is virgin. But as much as the land is virgin, but the land is already producing coffee. All we have to think about to do is that we must produce coffee on the large scale. You have the land. I'll give an example that at the moment coffee production in the entire Uganda is on over 3,800 square kilometers. That's over 900,000 acres. That is generating 1.1 billion Uganda shilling. 1.1 billion US dollars. That is helping our economy. But that is when we have not even touched northern Uganda. In northern Uganda, in Acholi alone, we have 270,000 square kilometers. And our vision is to grow on at least 4,000 square kilometers. So if we do that, within the next 3 years, Acholi alone will at least produce between 1.5 to 2 billion US dollars. Within 3 years, your life will have been transformed. But we have to keep in mind, what are the challenges? The middleman. Yesterday we were in Owori, and we found there were also farmers that were doing coffee. But the coffee buyers come all the way from Kampala to buy the coffee in Owori district. What's important, that should stop, that we should be able to do value addition. We should also be able to try and consume the coffee ourselves. I would like to hear from the elders. Why don't we drink coffee in northern Uganda? Because the history, that's what the neo-colonialists, when they were here, they said that coffee does not grow in northern Uganda. They lied that coffee does not grow in northern Uganda. They said it was only cotton. So coffee was only grown in Buganda and other districts. They mapped out and told our story. The time has come for us to tell our own story. Let Ugandans decide whether they want to grow their coffee, whether they want to grow cotton, whether they want to grow vegetables. But gone are the times where the colonialists were here to tell us what to grow and what to do. On the other hand, maybe it was a blessing. Because now we are more educated, we are more exposed, and we have support of the government. I liked what one of the speakers said earlier, that they have never touched that poem. I want the creatives. We have to live with that poem, properly recorded. The OWC poem. Where it said, I had never touched 1 million shillings. Would you have touched that 1 million shillings if there was not an NRM? Without NRM government, would you have touched that 1 million shillings? So as we are planning, let us get it right. Let us make sure we do value addition. We'll make sure we get the right markets. Make sure we are organized. Government should support in research. We have a research organization under the Ministry of Agriculture called Nakori. That should be on the ground working with us. There is need of the extension workers. There is need for access to credit. I'm looking at all of you. Do all of you have money? How many of you want to get free coffee seedlings? But how many of you want to buy your own coffee seedlings? No. Why do you want free coffee seedlings? How much is a coffee seedling? 1,500. Why do you want free coffee seedlings? What I would like to hear is give us some credit. If government gives you the coffee seedlings on credit, then after your harvesting, you paid back the 1,500. Or joke, how much do you get from that one tree?
Mr. Jock, you know,
from a tree. So you'll get 35,000 shillings. So it's easy for you to invest 1,500. Then you have your pride that this seedling, this tree, coffee tree, is my tree for generations and generations that you've paid for yourself. But those are things we're going to discuss. We gave out millions and millions of coffee seedlings as Operation World Creation. But mostly we are here to listen. And just to tell you that we are here together with you. How many of you are seeing coffee as the final bullet that is going to hit poverty in northern Uganda? That's very few. How many of you are seeing this is our final bullet? So keep that in mind. We need to be ready. We need to prepare so that so that we can start planting coffee.
Coffee.
This war,
We
must win. The NRM government won the bullet war of Kony. Now individually, as per household, we are going to win the poverty war. Who is with me on the winning of the poverty war in northern Uganda? And we are going to do it. What? Household plus household. Ot. Okay, we will do it ot. Did I say it right?
Correctly, yeah.
Household per household.
Yeah,
if it means you're going to do 1 acre or 2 acres or 5 acres, it's cash. It's cash money, and we're here to mobilize you, and we're here to support you. We don't want to take the credit for the mobilization of the farmers, of Acholi especially. How many of you have heard of Rocho Pacho? What is Rocho Pacho? Can someone explain what is Rocho Pacho? Can you come and explain Rocho Pacho?
Gipar Yesu Dana di mo winyo lok manadit olaro tuno ambassador genke langol kop madit chigamoy o windole gitika workere ikabero dujuni.
How many of you have heard what Mr. Olara Tuno have heard what they're moving around with?
Gitika loko ngo rocho ngo
all this big
rocho pajo
Rocho
kakit ma ananyang kere.
The way you understand?
Eneni actually machalo kaga
Actually, as a tribe,
wayeni waberi vu matot
that we were really in a deep hole.
Vu mechan
In poverty,
vu metuo
in sickness,
vu memon kikuro
in war.
Ma omio watia ngech.
That's why we are
Kibot
behind
kaga mo kene pego meno
compared to other tribes in Uganda.
donka wayeni waberi pego
If we accept we are in problem,
ngoma miero wan machalo dana watimu
what should we do as an individual?
eniye nikumberi luendong food ogikoro pego meno
He's saying right now the war has ended.
dano okay kema pego meno
People have left the camp.
dano duguti ken pachi
People
kuman ko
people are there in their home.
dong chan wariemo nining
How do we fight poverty?
wa ile nining me a ki fony marojo maro tieno wa kumberi tiga lak street jala goni
How do we improve?
lok me be berong wa rojo nining
How do we improve our life standards?
lok me nyom kit me te kwaro wa timo nining
Marriage, how do we improve? Work
lok
on
me
that.
kwan wa be timo nining
Education, how do we handle?
manywere dana achel tie ki magatala mamiero eno tim pego meno
So
chiu
everyone has a
dana
role
di
to do.
mamiero bedo dano ma tie ka tiyo tich ilok me rojo
How
pajo
many people want to participate in Rojo Pajo?
ene ye ikim tim me rojo pajo piek to mwanyi do bini ye eno
That's
uwinye
why,
mabe
coffee is now part of
uwinye
Rojo
mabe
Pajo. Yes.
dong chi awin kijira kongi bori
So Rojo Pajo, coffee is part of it.
Thank you very much. I hope he has explained that initiative. And that initiative is headed by the Chief Justice.
Chief Justice.
Owini
Owindolo.
The Chief Justice of Uganda is the one heading
The Chief
drive
Justice.
for coffee production in northern Uganda. So you can now see how serious it is. We have Honorable Nobad Mao.
Honorable Mao.
We have Professor Otunu.
Professor Olaratuno.
We have the elders.
Lutela Mapapa.
Now those are the elders.
Lutela Mamegwa.
Now I want to recruit the youth leaders. So the youth leaders here, we have the leader of the youth
Watikila Tela Pabulo
in Nuaya.
in our district.
Ojok here is the leader of the youth.
Ojok tilo tele pat bulu Inoya district.
Inoya.
Inoya kan.
Encouraging the growth.
Kami oker matek ki bulu.
The growth of coffee.
Me ni pour coffee mede malo.
I know always His Excellency talks about in Luganda echida chonka.
Ena wa ini la dillo polkara lo lev Luganda ken ma ena wa kire.
But when you eat, you are only producing for the stomach.
Ena wa polkara ulta ativo me eat. For eat.
No, when you're producing, you're a farmer and only producing for the stomach.
Yeah, it's for eat, me eat. For food.
Only, and you can't develop.
Yeah, not for sale.
How many of you are ready for us to get out of that? Is called the subsistence farming. Coffee is one of the things that is going to help us get out of that. Because you can grow your coffee. Then you can grow the bananas to cover for the shelter. Then at the same time you can do your food. And then as we are going into large production of coffee, we have to not worry about the land conflicts. You know, we have a lot of land conflicts in northern Uganda. But if we start with just the household, it's easy for me to be, this is my household and it's my 1 acre. And then after a few years, you go up to 2 acres, to 3 acres, to 5 acres, and so on. The other thing that we really have to keep in mind is the environment. That we must take care of the environment. So that we don't cut down the trees to grow coffee. Actually, the coffee needs the trees for the shelter. And remember, we export 60% of our coffee to Europe. And we don't want to have any environmental issues. So the environment issue is really important. But there is also one thing that is happening locally. And it's something that you guys enjoy very much. And you end up burning the bushes in search of it. It is not worth it. If we really must eat that mice, let us find a way of farming it. So that the same way we are doing cattle, the same way we are doing the chicken, we get them, and maybe they are not as tasty if you're farming them. You like to chase them and then burn the bushes. But you should really think about it. Because imagine when you have put up 25 acres of coffee. And those acres could be worth 50 million shillings. Are you still going to chase those rats in your coffee? So we should think about that also. You know, there's some things that you have to substitute. And then say, as much as I like, we enjoy this delicacy, but the production of coffee is better. But those are things the elders are going to sit and help us understand. Because wealth is very important. Those little animals we are chasing are only for one season. When the rains come, they also disappear. So the elders will advise us. Like I said, when we came here, we are not coming to preach and say this and this is what you do. Every region, every district, every constituency, every sub-county, every village, every parish in Uganda should tell its own story. Every parish. Let Uganda tell its own story. Do you agree with me or not? Let us finally tell our own story. And as we go ahead, when we all produce coffee, now it takes us to a different, we go into a totally now new environment. Then we go into agro-industrialization. We want to see factories come up here in Acholi. We want to see factories of coffee. We want to see factories of cotton. Factories of bananas. We want to see all the youth employed. Has any one of you know about Kapeka? Have you heard of Kapeka Industrial Park?
One person
can you how many have heard of Kapeka Industrial Park? Only one.
Kapeka. Two.
Okay. Just a few of you. This is a big industrial park. That now has, it was like a space just the way you see with nothing. And General Saleh had a big vision for it. And he let all of these investors from China come and set up the industries there. So at the moment they have more than 30 industries. That's the vision now we're having for here. Jobs for the youth. We need to industrialize Acholi. And you know what's very important? Only here in Gulu, there is an export center. The Gulu Logistics Hub. How many of you have seen it? That Gulu Logistics Hub is going to transform the whole of northern Uganda. Because now using the railway from Kenya to Sudan to Congo, all the goods are going to be coming and passing through the logistics hub. So all the coffee you're going to produce now, is going to be transported on those trains. It's not a dream. It's already started. And that is with the principles of NRM. And we must continue with those principles. How many of you know the NRM ideology? How many of you know the 4 NRM principles? Come over and say them. Not just to brag, but because at the end of the day, we all have a history.
Might not be in order, but not all also. One of them is socio-economic transformation. Peace and security. Democracy. That's right.
At least you got 3.
Why at least you were there? Matika kare.
He got the first one is socio-economic transformation.
Kila la kid me name ching down.
Prosperity for all. Yes. Thank you.
La dite do mi o ma gifene.
So